Thong athletes, and welcome to an episode of From the Drawing Board. It's been a while since we've had one of these, but the lockdown seemed like the perfect opportunity to get artists online chatting while sketching. So for this first episode, we are coming full circle. The artist on the very first From the Drawing Board was Leigh Gallagher, talking about his work on Kingmaker with Ian Edgington. So since that collection is out this week, it seemed the perfect opportunity to get him chatting and sketching. So we talk about his process, how he got started in the beers, a little surprise for me, and absolutely fascinating and wonderful to be able to chat to him. So enjoy. So Leigh, do you want to say hello and introduce yourself?
Hey buddy, thanks for having me back so soon. So yeah, I'm Leigh Gallagher, artist of Kingmaker, which is out in the next few days, which is very exciting. Just a shame it's the whole coronavirus thing going on, but hopefully if you get it, it'll take your mind off it for a few hours. You know, so right now, Mulcher here has asked me to do a bit of a headshot of Crixus, the main character, who's an orc. So I'll have a bit of a chat while I'm drawing away.
Yeah, brilliant, lovely. Well, crack on. So explain to us a little bit about who Crixus is as you start.
Okay. Well, first of all, hang on. Do you mind if I just finish another picture I was just working on?
No, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, sure. Okay, can you see this?
Oh, you absolute sod. Yeah. Should have expected that.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I just like life drawing, you know? I was just drawing you as one of my French girls.
I mean, you've made me look a lot thinner than I actually am, so thanks for that.
Oh, see, I'm sorry. It's been a while since I've seen your topless, so I don't know if you're actually that hairy on your chest.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. Anyway.
You absolute sod.
Okay. So, what would you like to talk about then?
Well, explain a little bit about Crixus for those who haven't read Kingmaker.
Okay. It's your traditional. It starts off with your traditional Lord of the Rings setup. It's a world of, it's like Middle Earth. It's a world of orcs and elves who are called dryads in our world, and wizards. And the story kind of starts off like the end of Lord of the Rings, where our heroes are about to basically win by going up a volcano to take care of the bad guy. But just as that happens, a gigantic alien warship appears above them and just decimates everything. So from that point on, as Ian would like to say, enemies become friends and friends become enemies, and it's all a mixed up world, basically. Crixus was obviously an orc and one of the bad guys. From this point on, he becomes our hero, basically. He joins forces with a wizard called Ablid and a young dryad princess called Yarrow. And they just go on an adventure to try and save this world from the alien bad guys.
So tell us a little bit about, I'm just going to come out and ask it, about how you learn to draw. Because I see there that you're using the traditional kind of, the head shape with the line for where the eyes need to go, so you get the proportions.
Yeah.
Right. But is that something you picked up from books? Was it something you were taught? Was it something that you've self-taught? Tell us a little bit about that.
All right. It's all self-taught from books. Like when I was in college and school and college, I had How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. So that was like every other artist. So that was the way we all used to draw and practice. What did I used to do? I did some small press comics with some friends of mine at the time. We kind of created this little comic called Killer Bunny Comics. And my story that I wrote and drew myself very proudly was basically me as a crazy person with rubber chickens strapped to my body. And I would use them as weapons as a crime fighter. See, that's a very awkward silence there, Mike.
I've got it on mute so that we can hear your beautiful singing voice.
Right. Okay. um. So yeah, I mean, it only lasted about 5 issues, but you know, it got me practicing and learning storytelling and stuff like that. So and then from that point on, it was I don't know. I've told the story quite a few times, but I'm good friends with John Higgins, famous 2000 AD artist, and it was kind of thanks to him that I got to learn a lot more. Because many years ago, like over 20 years ago now, he did a talk in Liverpool library that I decided to go to and watch. And I was one of the people to ask him a bunch of questions about how the business works, and he kind of picked up on that. So we swapped details at the end, and I didn't actually expect him to contact me again. But about a week later, he ended up contacting me and just giving me some samples to ink of his work, just to practice, which was just incredible. Still can't get over the fact that he did that, and from that point on, we became good friends. And he basically, sorry, knocked the camera. He just basically kept in touch and tried me out for jobs here and there. Had me looking after his studio and home in Luton while he disappeared off to America for a while. And that's where I learned the ropes. I mean, there was like the great Steve Dillon was there in the studio as well, so I got to hang out with him for a short while. When I was there, my first professional job came along. I mean, around the same time I was applying to 2000 AD as well. And around the same time, I also got a job with John for a Levi's comic book strip. And John, because he was like just pressed for time, he asked me if I could ink it while he was in America drawing it. So that was my first proper taste of a professional job. I've done that pretty quickly, so I might ink it actually.
Yeah, that'd be grand. Yeah.
But okay, don't blame me if I balls it up. Okay. Right, hang on.
So in terms of what you're using to ink it there, just to explain a little bit about your pens.
Well, I used to be traditional. Sorry, the camera's in the way. I can't get to it properly. Hang on. I used to be traditionalist, with brush and ink, Indian ink, but it tends to be very, very time consuming. So later on, I just made the switch to pens because I don't kind of ink the traditional American way now, like I used to, with like tapered lines and going from thick to thin. I just have just one outline for my pens, using fine liners. So I use Unipin fine liner. Lots of different sizes. I tend to use a 0.2 and 0.3, sometimes a 0.5. And I also use brush pens as well. So that's for like things like hair and stuff. This is when I do need to use a tapered line. So I use this instead of brushes now. Hang on. Right. What else?
And when did you make that switch? Because you've been on the YouTube channel before with doing Kingmaker stuff,
Yeah.
where you did a video that showed you working directly onto a computer. When did you make that switch away from all the traditional medium?
Well, I have to say that video that I did for the YouTube thing, that was a one-off and the first time I actually digitally inked, because I was so pressed for time. Right, can I just say I'm already regretting the choice to ink this now.
Too late now. You've got to keep going.
Balls. It's just hard to get the angles right with this camera in the way. That's all. Well, traditionally, when was it? It was when I first started drawing Defoe for Pat Mills. That was many years ago. What was that? About 8 years ago or something like that, if not longer. No, God, no, it was 12 years ago.
No, it's longer than that. Yeah.
12 or something like that. Yeah, because that was when I started thinking with all the fine liners doing just a crap load of cross hatching everywhere, which have since toned down since then, because who the hell wants that on your deadlines? So yeah, I've said it before on your podcast, all that cross hatching that I did for Defoe, that was a nightmare. It's like when I used to render literally every single brick in a wall. Just madness. Really, really is madness. So, hang on. Right. This here. So I'm trying to remember what his teeth look like. Right.
Because you had a very different style when you did your first professional gigs. What was it?
The witching for Vertigo, you mean?
Yeah, and you didn't you do like a licensed tie-in thing as well?
Oh, did I? Oh, sorry, yeah, Bionicle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bionicle. There we go.
Lego Bionicle. Also,
Yeah.
well, you know what happened there? That was when I was working on Defoe, and when my editor at DC contacted me about the Bionicle and asked me to do a sample for it, I ended up inking it exactly like I would Defoe, which is just a crap load of cross hatching. And the editor's like, yeah, we don't like this. Yeah, could you do it in another way? So that's when I did the traditional American inking style, like a lot simpler, which just I can't believe I did that in the first place. Stupid idea. So yeah, I did that job for about a year. But that was at the same time that I was working on the Defoe as well. So it was this insane period where I would be getting up about 4 o'clock in the morning to work on Bionicle. This was a bad idea. Hang on, let me just get I'm going to get out the brush and ink. Hang on. So yeah, I'd be getting up at 4:30 in the morning to work on Bionicle for half the day, and then I'd switch onto the phone and work up until about 12 midnight, and then have about 4 hours sleep, which was really, really bad idea. So that was kind of like a period where I was having a nervous breakdown, and my then girlfriend, now wife Nikki, was close to leaving me probably. Because the stress of the schedules are too much. So I ended up just quitting Bionicle. Because, even though the money wasn't like great for working for DC and Lego, it just wasn't worth your health, sacrificing your health, basically. So yeah, that was that.
I find it interesting how your style has evolved as you have faced the very kind of real-time pressures of the job. You started off with a very time-consuming style, and certainly on Kingmaker that remains still the Leigh Gallagher style, but a lot more pared down. You've clearly had to think about the amount of time and what is the things are taking and what is practical within that time period.
Well, bear in mind, I'm still incredibly slow. I don't know. I kind of started to simplify my style slightly when I started working on Aquila with Gordon Rennie. That's when I started getting rid of the cross hatching. And also that's when I started seeing my work colored a lot by the very talented Dylan Teague. So when you realize the things that you can get away with when you color stuff, that tends to make a difference to how you draw in the long run. But nowadays with Kingmaker, I color myself. Right, sorry, I'm going to move this around. Which is just massively liberating. Really, really is. Like the amount of extra things I can do when I call my own work is just astonishing. I love it so much. I mean, it's time consuming in a different way. But why did I decide to ink this live? Oh, you idiots. God damn it. Ah. Okay, hang on. I can save this. Don't worry.
This is very illuminating.
Yeah. Have you got a good enough view there of everything?
Yeah, no, it's spot in the center of the frame, yeah.
Yeah. See, I watch these Jim Lee live videos all the time when he does something like this. But he's like well prepared with whiteout and stuff. And he always has these incredibly happy mistakes as he draws. You know, like it's like I've seen like Jock do some live drawing as well. And which is just incredible. But sometimes it gets to a point where you're watching it and you're thinking, he's messed up. And then within about 3 seconds, he just does something to it and just transforms it into something incredible. He totally knows what he's doing, that guy. He really does.
I mean, it has been said, yeah, he's yeah.
Yeah, he'll go far, that guy, I think.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Right. Go on. So, yeah, this would have been better with some whiteouts, but I haven't got any.
It's interesting that you mentioned How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, because I wonder if there is a single book that has had such a profound effect on an industry as that one. You know, the sheer number of artists of several generations who have mentioned that that's one of the books, not only that they recommend, but that they were inspired by and used. It's really remarkable.
Yeah, I know. The copy that I had, I don't actually have it anymore now. Like I did a talk in a school a couple of years ago. Because that's the type of guy I am, as you know, Mulcher.
No comment.
Yeah. And there was a kid there who was like really into it. I mean, usually you do these talks in schools, and there's only like a handful of the kids who are, really, really into it, and and then basically all the others just ask you really cheeky questions like how much do you earn and stuff like that. But this kid was genuinely interested in the techniques and stuff, so I ended up coming back and just giving him my copy of that book so he could practice on. I didn't realize until as I was giving it to him, though, that for some reason it smelled really funny, and I don't know why it smelled funny.
What have you been doing to it?
I don't know, man. It actually smelled of fish, and I don't know why. It was weird. But, it was too late. So somewhere out there, some 13-year-old boy has a copy of How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way with the smells of fish, thanks to me.
And either a successful comics career or a very unusual fetish.
Yeah. Oh, God. This needs other stuff. I'm trying to figure out what. There you go. So who were you talking to before me then?
Oh, it was for the podcast. It was with Al Ewing, Matt Smith, and Michael Carroll.
Oh, brilliant!
Which was about because the Prose Omnibus that we did a few years ago is like 99p on Amazon. So we've done a podcast episode about Dread in Prose to promote that.
Right. Okay then. Nice. Oh, I've not seen Al for ages and ages.
Yeah, well, it's weird. Ever since the Bristol show kind of stopped being the one show that everybody went to a number of years ago, we're kind of scattered to the four winds to a degree.
Yeah, that's true. I know. A 2000 AD going to Thought Bubble this year?
We're hoping to, if it's on. We had a good time last year, despite Harrogate, but even I was able to overcome my prejudice against that.
Right. Okay then. Well, I'm getting a table there for once. I am making a triumphant return to comic conventions.
Excellent.
After literally years and years of not going to any. So, what with Kingmaker coming out, I have a reason to come to these things now. Basically.
Excellent.
Nearly done, actually.
So we had you and Ian on the podcast just a little while ago, talking about Kingmaker.
Yeah.
plans continuing for more?
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, Ian needs time to write it. He's a busy guy. But yeah, definitely. Well, we end this one on a big ass cliffhanger that I didn't actually know about until I read that final script. You think that Ian gives you a heads up on what's going to be happening throughout the book, and then he just basically just lies, and so I'm just as shocked as everyone else when they see what happens, which is nice, So yeah, but yeah, I mean, for now, for the next until September, I shall be working on a different series that people are either going to really like or want to kill us. We'll see how that goes, but we'll talk about that when we're not live anyway. But yeah, it's a departure from what I usually do anyway. So that's nice. But yeah, honestly, I can't wait to get back into this world. I love drawing this fantasy stuff.
As we mentioned on the podcast, you and I had a conversation in Malta about you wanting to do sci-fi. So it's good to hear that A, it's worked out, and B, that you're still wanting to continue.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. God, how long ago was Malta? Jeez, that was a long time ago.
Many years ago now.
Yeah, we got to meet Dirk Benedict.
We did. How disappointing did that turn out to be?
Yes, I know. Oh my God.
I had that incredibly awkward interaction with Sylvester McCoy.
Oh, did you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, you were there at the table. I chose exactly the wrong moment to go over and talk to him. My favorite Doctor. Yeah. That definitely doesn't replay in my head when I'm trying to go to sleep at night.
Nah, we still had some good times though, Mulch.
That is true.
I'm overworking this now. Right, about 5 minutes ago, it was at a point where I should just bloody left the thing. But no, I'm doing what I always do and add too many lines. And look at me, I'm still doing it. What's wrong with me? I can't stop it. What the bloody hell? Stop me, Mulch.
We should bring this to a close before you cover the entire page in black lines.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's a breakdown in real time. It's incredible.
Yeah. Before we go, could I ask people to look me up on Instagram, please? It's like Leigh Gallagher Art. Because I've been on there for a bloody year now, and it's embarrassing the amount of followers I have on there. Seriously, I have worth on there. I post some good stuff on there sometimes.
So what was your username again?
Handle Leigh Gallagher Art.
Leigh Gallagher Art. LEIGH.
Yes, thank you.
GALL
AGHER. Yeah, come on, it's going to be in the description, surely. Please spell my name right in the description.
I'm just helping. I'm just making sure people have
full
access to it. It's great. No, wonderful. Right. Do go along and follow Leigh and make him feel better about himself.
Yes, please do. Yes, thank you. And please buy Kingmaker. Honestly, we've worked so hard on this, and there's about 13 retouch pages that I've redone on there just to make it look nicer for the collection. I can't wait for you guys to see it. Really, me and Ian are really proud of it.
Fantastic. Well, Leigh, thanks very much for this. I think that looks great. I'm sure everyone else will agree. Kingmaker is out this week in paperback and digital.
Yep. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Leigh. Well, thank you so much to Leigh for taking the time to chat and to draw. I think you'll agree it was a lovely little sketch of Crixus. Make sure you pick up the collection of Kingmaker from all good online retailers, those comic book stores and bookstores that are still open. It's also available from 2000 AD's web shop and apps. We're going to be back in the near future with more From the Drawing Board episodes. Until next time, Splendid Berthrig.
Alert! 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 Fill power levels dangerously high. Alert! Alert! Read 2000 AD every week. Ask your comic book store or newsagent now. Subscribe to the galaxy's greatest comic at 2000ADonline.com.